I am Alex Lawson, filling in for Tom, and I'm joined in studio by Jasmine Jefferson, Legislative Director of Social Security Works. Jasmine, thanks for joining us on the Thom Hartmann Program.
Thank you for having me.
So we got a lot to talk about, but I think we could probably just kick off here with Trump's immoral blueprint, his budget, which recently came out, and what it basically says about the priorities of Donald Trump and the Republicans in Congress. So lay out a little bit. I spoke somewhat at length with Representative Pocan about this and Representative Rokana, that this is a deeply immoral document that Donald Trump has put out.
Yeah, so I can start with the Trump budget was put out about 2 weeks ago now at this point, and I will focus a little bit about the view of seniors in this budget. It was definitely an attack on all Americans, but specifically related to seniors. It cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid by over $1.8 trillion. That's trillion with a T. So we have a budget that Donald Trump has put out that is really as you said, it's immoral. It's something that it breaks all of his promises to seniors that he made during his campaign. He said very clearly several times while he was running for president that he wouldn't cut Social Security, he wasn't going to cut Medicare, he wouldn't cut Medicaid. But yet the Republicans seem to be doing things that are looking to dismantle these programs to make it harder for seniors who are already struggling to pay for things like housing and food and medicine. And it's unfair to seniors, it's unfair to future seniors that we're seeing these cuts in these programs that are so popular and so important to the American people.
So literally no one wants to cut, no one voted to cut Social Security, to raid Medicare, to dismantle Medicaid completely and destroy the program. Medicaid, the largest provider of long-term care in this country, and for the majority of Americans, the only provider of long-term care. And there's only one very small slice of this country who wants these things, and that's the greedy liars on Wall Street. That is the folks who these Republicans just rammed through a handout to these greedy liars on Wall Street and the corporate titans, et cetera, that's basically the mirror image of these attacks on our earned benefits, which is, what I always say, they only have one move, these Republicans, who are dancing to the tune that Wall Street calls, and is to reach into our pockets and steal our money. That's it. So this seems to be, and you know this better than anyone, before the president's budget came out, we had our staff meeting, and I was like, oh, they're going to try to hide it, and they're going to be sneaky, and you were probably giving me a little bit of a look like, what are you basing this on? Because they have not been sneaky at all about it. And then the budget did come out, and I was like, oh, wait, never mind. They weren't sneaky at all about this. It's just openly stating their priorities, which is to destroy Medicaid, raid Medicare, cut Social Security while cutting its budget, attacking it from all sides. And it's just right there in plain English for everyone to read.
Yeah, it's completely clear what they're trying to do. We just saw that they were willing to do anything to pass their tax cuts for wealthy Americans. And they did this, and they plan to do that by cutting Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. They have to find a way to pay for these things, right? If they're gonna cut taxes for millionaires and billionaires, they have to pay for it, but they're doing it on the backs of seniors, on the backs of Americans with disabilities, on the backs of children, the most vulnerable groups in America. And that's just, it's cruel, it's immoral, as you used the word earlier. And then also, as you mentioned, it's not just the benefits, not just the monetary benefits we're talking about. It's also the administration of these programs. So SSA's budget, for example, was cut in this Trump budget. And that just shows you that they don't care even about the long lines that already exist in Social Security, in the Social Security offices, in a time where we should be expanding offices, making more field offices, hiring more workers, because more people are retiring than ever before. The Republicans, again, they think think that they need to cut Social Security, and they're undermining our faith in the program. And that's just, as you said, cruel. It's immoral. We shouldn't stand for this. And we really need to push back against the congressional Republicans who could potentially take this Trump budget that's not legislation and turn it into something real and concrete and make it policy going forward into the FY 18 and 19 year.
So, and the good news is that we're not going to sit back and take it, and we are fighting back. And, you know, we're fighting back at Social Security Works, tooth and nail. We make them fight over any millimeter that they try to take from us. And the tactic or our strategy there is, and it's also just wise policy, because this is what we need to do. But we can't just be on our back, on our heels all the time, on the back of our foot. We need to be leaning forward and going on the attack for the things that we want. Because when they're always attacking us, then we just defend. And then you have to win 100% of the time. If you're defending against bad things from happening, then you have to win 100% of the time. Now, when we go on offense and we're fighting for good things, for things that we want to expand Medicare to everyone, improve Medicare and expand it, expand Social Security and increase benefits. These are the things that the people want. We're fighting for them, and now they're on the defense. They're on their heels, and that is a strategy that, you know, we have seen to great effect. I feel like there's a little bit of that momentum going on. Mark Pocan was talking, Representative Mark Pocan from Wisconsin's 2nd, and the co-chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus was talking about that. Are you seeing that as well on the Hill, that the left and the Democrats are kind of pushing forward?
Yeah, we are seeing that. While in 2017, like you said, we're really on our heels fighting back against healthcare, whatever it is,
Trump care.
Or Trump care, fighting back against that, fighting back against the tax cuts. And what we've seen is that now we're starting to pivot back to where we were before that, where we could introduce new pieces of legislation that would do these really progressive things. So we have several champions in the Congress right now. For example, Senator Sanders has done incredible work in the past on expanding Social Security, and now wants to move forward and build new policies around how we fund the Social Security Administration, making it so that they won't have to worry year to year what congressional Republicans want to do to their budget, which is cut it. But they can move forward and have the funding that they need every year to make sure that we have the best services in the world. And then also in the House side, we've seen Representative Sanchez from California. She's always reintroduced her expanding Social Security bill. And so we've seen now that she wants to reintroduce that again. She has an opportunity to give us things that we can be passionate and rally around to make sure that our priorities are clear, so that the Republicans who want to cut Social Security, want to cut Medicare and Medicaid, they don't even have a chance to do that, because we're so ready to push forward with these new ideas to expand Social Security and not even think about cutting them.
So in the last couple minutes here, I just want to pivot slightly to politics, because when you do, you have one side, the Republicans, they've written it down. So I don't know how much clearer they can be about what they want, right? They wrote it down. Destroy Medicaid. Raid Medicare. They tried their hardest. We defeated them in the Trump care fight. They wanted, it was right there, raid Medicare, $700 billion, destroy Medicaid completely and totally, cut Social Security benefits. That's written down. And on the other side, we have Democrats who, you know, are fighting to expand these programs. And I'm feeling more momentum in the Democratic Party towards the popular, these populist economic ideas, which are deeply popular, right? Expanding Medicare to everyone, expanding Social Security, lowering prescription drug prices. You know, these are issues that they're running on now, that they're making a name on, and it really makes the choice clear, right? I mean, like, you have two, a lot of callers will call in and probably yell at me for this, but because I think it's really clear that you have two very different parties here. I'm not saying that the Democrats are perfect, far from it. but we need to keep pushing them towards ideas and policies that we believe in. But I do think that you have a pretty clear distinction between the two parties. What do you think about that basically coming into November and what that might mean in November?
Oh, I think that's completely correct. If you just look at Randy Bryce versus Paul Ryan, you have two totally different candidates in Wisconsin, and it has to be clear that we can't sit back and allow Republicans or any candidate who says that they're going to do terrible things to these programs that we care about. We have to look in 2018, and I think that the people are really ready to move forward and to do something different with the Democrats, or even if it's, I mean, it could be anyone, somebody who's willing to move forward and say, we're not going to cut Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. We want to lower prescription drug prices and make sure the American people have what they need going forward and do these things that you phrase as populist things. They're really, I mean, they're American ideals. They're things that everyone should be passionate about across party lines, no matter who they put an R or D next to their name. So.
Jasmine Jefferson, Legislative Director of Social Security Works. We are so lucky to have you at Social Security Works, making sure that we're fighting every day for these ideas that the people stand by, and that's what we should judge everyone on, their ideas, their policies. What are they fighting for? Not just their words.